Okay. Oh, God. It just decided to go again. Let's just stop that. Everything is being really strange. Even the Stream Deck isn't working, which has been fascinating. So it's you know, it's one of those days.
We stand the Elgato line of products across all SKUs, Zach, all SKUs.
This is very, very, very bizarre. So, you know, here's what we're going to do. We're just, no. Oh, you know what I can do? Hold on. Did I have a backup? I thought I had a backup for this. I felt like maybe I don't.
Is it just me? Just literally me being like,
I forgot I put a backup here for this specific situation. I put a backup for this. Not that we, you know, the show's already going. We're just gonna play the music later. This is fine. This is fine. I know Brian's missing his hat.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna do the intro. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, everyone, to Z&B Live Unfiltered. Good morning, sunshine.
That's just kind of how I feel right now. That's even all of my technology is just over 2024 and ready to start anew in 2025, which is going to be a brand new time and location for Z&B Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast.
How's everybody feeling this morning? Hopefully good.
Spectacular.
In general.
Spectacular.
Awesome.
Yeah, where's the hat?
I don't know.
Okay.
Somewhere.
All right. Fair enough. Welcome in to Z&B Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast. We've got a lot to discuss today on our. It's the end of the year. It's you know, it's Christmas time, and it's time for Santa O'Brien and Santa ZachMRutledge to talk about their naughty and nice list. And we're going to start this week with the naughty list, and next week work into our nice list. And if you are joining us live in the YouTube sphere here, would love you to join in on the conversation. And when the show is over, stick around, because we're going to have our post show where we get to dive a little bit more deep into some of the things that we talked about. One of the benefits by, you know, catching us live here on YouTube as opposed to later on one of the either pre-recorded shows here on YouTube, or, you know, on podcast channels like Spotify, Apple Podcast, all those things, you can engage with that conversation and do all the things. If you've not yet liked this episode, if you're watching it after the fact or watching it live right now, go ahead and hit those heart buttons, hit those like buttons, like, subscribe, do the YouTube things, and don't forget to check us out over on Spotify and Apple Podcast as well. And you can also find Mr. Bricks O'Brien over there on the Twitch side of things, the Purple Channel. And he is doing some amazing stuff this holiday season with his, because he is a celebrated author. Celebrated by who? I don't know. By me, I know that. I celebrate him. But Brian, talk to me a little bit about what you're doing for Faux de Kids.
Yeah.
Brian.
This December, getting together book deliveries to children's hospitals all across the country in an effort to get Pro Gamer's Guide out into more kids' hands and bring a little bit of joy this holiday season. I thought it'd be a cool idea to make this happen, and it really went well last year. And so this year, response has been even more positive and amazing and awesome. So we are manually reaching out to all these hospitals, one email at a time, saying, hey, would your hospital be open to accepting a donation of 40 Pro Gamers Guide books? And those were hospitals as nominated by the community. And we are continuing that effort through December 18th, and just hoping that we can deliver books to all these different places. I literally packed 4 of the boxes and they are ready to go already. And we are working on the next shipment, which is going out to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital So we are encroaching on that milestone, and then every milestone that's unlocked, that's a new hospital that we are aiming to deliver all these books to. So yeah, it's been going very well, and I'm very grateful to everybody's support out there, and excited to see kids have these. That's what it's all about. Share stories, and yeah.
Where does an idea like that come from? Like, at what point in time are you sitting around trying to figure out, what great thing you're going to do next, and then all of a sudden it pops into your head? How does this happen?
Well, so I mean, I've done a lot of charity work over the years, not just live streaming and whatever, but like even volunteering at the Salvation Army with my grandmother and trying to do a little bit of good that way, right? And I would, before all of this with the books kind of transpired, I would use whatever part of my discount I had at the Lego store and just buy like a couple $100 worth of toys and then put it in a Toys for Tots bin at the fire station or police station or whatever. So I've kind of like always wanted to give back over no matter what medium. And then now that like we have created our own thing that it's entirely original, that is directly from me and from Kevin, and this piece of art that we can now give that to other people and do it at scale and have an even bigger impact, not just through contributions on Tiltify, but even just ourselves, like just dropping off books at, little libraries that I see when I'm driving around. Like I keep books in my my car at all times in case I see one, I drop one off, like just like random stuff like that. And we're able to do that. So why not do that even more? And especially now during the holidays. So
Absolutely love that. And it's like $15 on Tiltify gets you the book, but every little bit kind of helps fund that whole thing, right? But like it's like $15 per book or whatever, right? Is that kind of how it works?
And that factors in like all the shipping, the labor, the extra sticker sheets we give the hospitals, and the everything. So it covers everything on average.
Yeah. So there you go. So he'll be live later tonight, and it goes through the 18th, right? Did I have that date right? So
Yes.
Make sure you get on over to his Twitch channel. All of our links are always, for all of our social medias and things like that, are always in the description here on YouTube for this, and the description on all the podcast channels and everything like that. So you can easily click and find us and head over there. But we do make it easy. It's just the names that we have here on the screen. So ZachMRutledge everywhere on the internet. Bricks O'Brien everywhere on the internet.
And I am putting the campaign in the live chat if you're watching on YouTube, in case you haven't been to my corner of the internet yet to see it. So you can take a look there if anything piques your fancy. And for every book that's contributed, that's adding even more time to my final birthday bonanza. So if you want to see me suffer for what's now 11 hours, you can add to that timer and spend even more time with me in January.
We got to get you to 24. He's never done a 24-hour stream on his channel.
Zach, I promise you, it is logistically impossible at this point. I'm not trying to gas it up either. Like, there's no chance it gets to 24. Nowhere near close. It does not happen.
I think Lindsay was telling me that if everything gets fully funded or whatever, like it's that equals 24 hours, right? Or something, like there's a number there.
Well, basically, there's no shortage of hospitals that are like accepting the books. So where I'm really just limited by how many books I have here. So if they all go, but that's not gonna happen.
Okay, so they all gotta go. Chat. That's all you got to do. We just got to get it funded. So head on over to twitch.tv/BricksO'Brien today, or if you're already in our live chat, there's the link. There's the Tiltify link if you'd like to contribute to the campaign right here and now. Let's get these books funded for hospitals all over the country. It's going to be amazing. And thank you again, dude, for doing this kind of stuff. Spearheading, once again, an amazing initiative to do things, thinking about others rather than yourself. And I want to build him up now in the minds of everybody before grumpy O'Brien comes out with the naughty list for Lego in 2024, because I feel like today's going to get a little spicy. We may agree on more things in this episode than we've ever agreed on in anything in an episode, because it's this is going to be an episode littered with sets and builds that Lego has pushed out in 2024 that we think they missed the mark on. And I think there's a good chance that some of these are going to have some cross pollination there on lists. Not that we have like just specific lists that we're going to go through and it's our top 5 or top 10 or whatever. It's just overall concepts of what Lego did this year, and they're broken up into a few categories here, as you can see if you're watching live with us over on YouTube. We have our list here on the side of the screen for you, and we're going to start as long as my Stream Deck actually works. We're going to start with one that is near a theme that's near and dear to my heart here, which is Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and by the way, loving the Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew is so good.
I haven't seen episode 3.
It's so good. Here's how good Skeleton Crew is. Brian was live texting me while watching Skeleton Crew, the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew, giving me commentary on his overall thoughts of Skeleton Crew. That's how good Skeleton Crew is.
Yes, I'm thinking positively of it, to clarify. I am very on board. The direction, the I don't know what it is about it. The story direction immediately, the cinematography, something's different. I feel it. I really feel it.
80s Spielberg, baby. Like it is. They captured.
It's none of this Rise of Skywalker. Like I feel it.
It's like the Force. It penetrates him. Skeleton Crew is binding us all together. Finally, once again, it's bringing us. Okay, whatever. I tried. There was something there. I tried to.
Did you buy this Droideka? Because I think it's not great.
I did. Now here's the thing with Star Wars.
I did buy you this piece of garbage, guy.
Lego Star Wars in 2024 had an opportunity to do something very, very special. And it was a 25th anniversary celebration of a partnership that Lego and Star Wars created, during which was spearheaded by the release of The Phantom Menace. And so they were celebrating 2 different things here this year. And they were celebrating, the partnership that really kind of helped put Lego back on the map again. Like it was, bringing in a big theme like Star Wars and saying we're going to release a bunch of Star Wars related Lego toys now. I know like, I was older. I mean, I was, I would have been 19, I think at the time. And it's still like, I was getting excited about Lego again because of the Phantom Menace Lego that they were putting out. They had an opportunity here to really embrace that and support it and do some special things with it, while not just giving us the standard. We're going to release a few sets that are themed towards the Phantom Menace, but actually do some special things. And boy, did they screw the pooch this year, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. This is all Brian's opinion. You guys might have different opinions with these things, but. They gave us a set of brickheads from the Phantom Menace. Sure. They gave us this Droideka set. Sure. They just didn't make a lot of right calls this year with Lego Star Wars.
They did the TIE Interceptor, which I totally forgot came out this year, by the way. 100% forgot. That was even on the radar.
That UCS set was a forgotten UCS set.
And you could have had a Naboo Starfighter, any of the pod racers. You could have had X, Y, and Z. They really make a big celebration out of it. Star Wars, as we know, Star Wars has not been a remarkable IP on my radar in general all throughout this year, so it's kind of expected. And nothing stood out to me besides the sail barge, and exclusively for nostalgic reasons.
Just miss after miss after miss this year with Lego Star Wars. Like this Droideka is a prime example, and this is why this set hits my worst list for 2024, because this was a set, like the idea here was, oh, you know, when you see it in the film, it transforms into this ball and rolls around and whatever. And considering we had gotten Optimus Prime and he was able to transform without taking like any parts off, and you're thinking, okay, the concept for this, you should be able to twist things and move things and, you know, whatever, contort it down. No, you actually have to remove parts and flip them and put them back together in this set, and it just missed the mark. Like, it just doesn't do what it was supposed to do. And the build reminded me of what we got with the probe droid a few years before this, where it just very bland and dull, and by the end of it you're like, this was an instance where the marketing photography looks so much better than the actual product sitting on your shelf. 100% looks better. And that was the same way with the probe droid. The probe droid looked better in product photography than it did when you actually see it in person. And the Droideka set here is the exact same way. But so they missed on this set. They had the huge Captain Rex controversy this year, where we had the Captain Rex come out with the Venator, and this was an exclusive Captain Rex that was only going to be available in this set. Wrong. We're going to release it in a $10, a $15, you know, micro fighter set this year, and mess over all the people that spent money on, you know, trying to acquire that exclusive Captain Rex set. You know, it's these kinds of decisions that I scratch my head on when it comes to Star Wars Lego. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Skeleton Crew, they also released that set months, 6 months before the show came out, to the point now where people forgot it even existed, right? Just strange thought processes here. And I'm not sure who made, you know, these calls. The big overall miss, outside of not engaging with the idea of the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace, they leaned into this idea of 25th anniversary of Star Wars with Lego, which is fine. They released a UCS set in the TIE Interceptor that had nothing to do with anything at all in the 25th anniversary. In May, the UCS set in May was a TIE Interceptor, had nothing to do with anything. And then you have some Lego brass out there saying, oh, well, we released the X-Wing, you know, so if you're going to have the X-Wing, you need the Luke's X-Wing and a TIE Interceptor never even met each other in battle in the films, ever. Not one instance did Luke's X-Wing ever meet a TIE Interceptor in battle in the movies. Not once. If you're going to give me Darth Vader's Advanced TIE Fighter as a UCS set in 2025, thank you. Nailed it. Move on, right? You're going to give me a Naboo Starfighter, a Pod Racer, whatever. Great. Nailed it. Move on. Here's what they did that was really disgusting, was they took a lot of sets and they put these exclusive 25th anniversary minifigs in them and price locked them behind ridiculously expensive sets throughout the course of the year. From the buildable droid factory to the desert skiff. I'm trying to think what else they had. Now there was a really nice, you know, the Cal Kestis figure came in that I thought was a really, really nice play set, the buildable Star Destroyer. So I thought that was a really, really cool set. Like, that was to me, that was like, that's hitting my best list. You know, that was a great set this year, right? But they did these things where they price locked behind these expensive sets the one thing that's celebrating 25 years. And that's disgusting. And they've been doing that a lot lately with gift with purchases and making them very, like, you know, tight window to get them and low inventory and whatnot. And yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people, especially on that buildable droid set, that don't even realize that little young Leia figure even came with it. And so 10 years down the road, people are going to be like, wait a minute, this thing existed? Where did that come from? Right? Something needs to change with Lego Star Wars going forward, 2025 and beyond. And oh, by the way, I don't think it's going to, because we've already seen with some of the stuff they're releasing, and it's not good. So naughty list galore. I'm sorry, Lego Star Wars.
I want to feel excited. I want to feel
excited.
Like I want to look at Lego Star Wars and be like, yeah, that's dope. let's get more of that. And, you know, C3PO is definitely a highlight of all of that.
Here's the thing with the C3PO. They didn't give us the better minifigure to go with it. They gave us a dumbed down version of the minifigure to go with that set when it's in print and available in that Luke's land speeder, which is now retired. They did not give it to us. And it's head scratching. I don't get it. And as a Star Wars fan, it hurts. It's painful. Like it's a slap in the face a lot of the times. And I'm not a fan. That Desert Skiff is another one. That Desert Skiff should have been bundled with the sail barge. The sail barge should have come with the Desert Skiff set, and then that Desert Skiff set should have been sold separately as well, like it was.
You can have multiple.
So you have multiple. They did the same thing with the Cantina. The Cantina gave us a smaller version of the Cantina with the Greedo ship, right? So it was like Han's little, alcove there in the Cantina as a set with a little bit of a bar, and then the Greedo ship. That was a set. And then in the bigger Cantina set, they gave us those exact same elements, but slid them into the larger overall set. The same thing should have applied here with the Desert Skiff and the sail barge, and they chose not to. And those are the head scratching moments that I struggle with Lego Star Wars as one of the biggest themes and brands that they've got. If you want to continue to hurt the trust of your audience, keep doing things like this, and eventually people will stop buying them, and it'll be too late. I feel, I'm concerned because I want my Lego to do well. I want my themes to do well. They're
going to do well regardless of how they deal with Star Wars. That's it. They gotta make good stuff outside of it being, I don't know. Like they really should go with that idea of the Death Star that would be 2026, right? What I said.
Yeah.
I think you at this point, the marketing plan for next year is probably already decided on what they do. But there's a reality where you tee it up and then, the Death Star is your grand slam, but we'll see if we ever get there.
Mm. Well, where they did take us this year with the idea set was to some pretty cursed and head scratching sets. From the Magic of Disney set to a overpriced buildable cell phone holder in the telephone booth to the head scratching family tree set that we got. Ideas sets turned in some interesting things, and I'm curious, Brian, your thoughts on overall ideas sets this year. Are we off base here? Was the Magic of Disney telephone booth family tree, were these good sets this year?
I don't particularly care about anything Lego Ideas that's coming out right now. And I feel like it's very circumstantial for a lot of people. And Ideas is tough to get into as a line because it just varies so much across the board. With the things that have been off, like that Mickey, I don't know where something went wrong with the upper portion of the head.
Something went wrong.
I don't know. I really don't know. The family tree specifically, that's Lego's attempt at being like a household brand, like integrate Lego into your everyday life, not just into the nerdy room you have in your office or your basement or whatever, right? So you could have that on your fall accessories or spring accessories if you really wanted to. So do those kind of people buy Lego like that? I don't think so, but we still got it. The telephone box really only specifically for specific people that either live in the UK or have a affinity for that. I don't. A lot of these feel, I don't want to say not useful, but they don't do anything outside of the box, I guess. I'm just not passionate about most of the things and ideas.
Somebody in our live chat mentioned, maybe they were trying to fill a specific spot. Somebody, else said that, maybe the skeleton crew said, there were problems there outside of, that affected the release date of Skeleton Crew. And I know that, but that's where you can hold on to the set until it's time. They during the pandemic, we dealt with that with the Ecto 1. Like the movie got delayed because of the pandemic. They went ahead and released the set. But I feel like Lego has changed since 2020 quite a bit, to the point now where we're on back-to-back January 1sts, where we're getting almost or over 100 sets being released. This is the second time in 2 years where January has hit us with almost 100 or over 100 sets being released. They have plenty in the release schedule. They have plenty in the release calendar. They're releasing too much too soon. We talk about it constantly, and it's hurting quality control. It's hurting the quality of the sets. Sets feel rushed. Sets feel like they're taking shortcuts, right? So delay it. If there is a problem, give yourself a pad to delay some of these things and get it right. Delay a Skeleton Crew set until it's closer to the release of it. Take your time with a Disney set, and like this, and make it better. Take the idea set. Well, this Disney set was not a good set this year.
I just feel like they're at a point where Lego has no shortage of good ideas, and they have expanded IP that they tackle way more than they have in the past 10 years. Like, would there ever be a reality where there's a $200 Nightmare Before Christmas Lego set, a movie that came out 20 years ago? Like, in no reality is that justified, but it's only because now that there's so many people that have their eyeballs on Lego, A, B, expanding with Disney specifically, and then there's so many other expensive sets that people have kind of gotten adjusted to it, where they can justify, okay, instead of doing a diorama of the Nightmare Before Christmas where it's just the hill with the moon, let's make the whole town, right? They're taking a lot of liberties like that, where I feel like some ideas could be scaled back or reinterpreted to be at a lower price point and still be effective and have a better quality control, because you're limiting your scope. But some projects have gotten too far out of the scope and have thus suffered for it. Did we really need a $330 botanical garden? I personally don't think so. You could have made something half that price, half that part count, whatever, and still be effective with it. And if you want to expand on it, you can.
Didn't they do
There's
that already
a lot of
with
opportunities
the
to do that.
Friends version of it or whatever, right? Where people were taking two Friends sets,
Yeah,
and basically making
and
that set for cheaper.
Maybe that's too. Maybe I think 180, and you can get two of them if you want to, and put them back to back. Boom, you got a full thing. Like that's just me. So I know this happens a lot with games specifically, right? If you just let the creative team just kind of run rampant with it, right? The scope of the project gets too big and it just becomes overinflated and you can't keep up. So how can you implement that a little bit more into Lego? Every set has a price to it. So why not just price it more effectively and be a bit more conscious of that and limit that scope?
They say this a lot of times, and especially in movies, right? Where you have the boardroom that gets involved with a film, and then they start making cuts, and they basically they cut up the film, and they end up moving it into a big melting pot, right? Then they just start pulling out random elements from said film and trying to piece it back together, and then we end up getting Rise of Skywalker. Like you start trying to chase different ideas. Do you think that happens with these Lego sets? You think it is like a boardroom situation where too many people get their fingers in the pot?
I know they've hired a lot more designers, and they've hired a lot more people in general, and they are expanding. And I don't know does Lego have a market cap? Do people like, is there like a maximum amount of people that are interested in Lego in general? Like, is it too niche of a product to even justify expanding at the rate that they have? Like where do you, and where is that line drawn? Is it drawn when you look at your balance sheet and you're like, oh, we actually have to fire another 500 people because we actually can't justify this? And then that's how you adjust. Like, how do you course correct from that in general? I don't know.
I mean, that's what they've done. We mentioned this before. I'm a big Destiny fan. That's what Bungie has done. The game company that makes that Destiny game.
And you know how they are so well respected for their operations and the content they've been putting out.
Well, not only that, but they you know, not only are they having a hard PR time with it, right? But you know, every single update they do now on their game is littered with glitches and bugs, and to the point where the game becomes unplayable. And it just happened this week where they released a new big update and nothing's working and the game can't progress and yada yada yada. And they've lost now, this is why I keep going back to this same topic, they've lost now the trust of their audience because of that, because of the amount of hiring they had to do, but then the amount of firing they had to do, and then now their product is suffering because of it. You run that risk. You run that risk of doing too much, too soon, too quickly, whatever, and you can end up breaking this trust that you've created over so many years. And I you know, I'm concerned that we're getting into that territory with this particular brand, and that bums me out.
Yep.
Next up we have Marvel. Nothing's working. There we go. Next up we have Marvel on my list. And yeah, you know, I've got a lot of thoughts about this X mansion, but you know what I'm going to talk about too? I'm going to talk about some other things when it comes to Marvel from
really quick. Massive shout out to you for making that nice whatever piece about the X Mansion that you put out on your channel, and was pretty thought provoking for the people that watched it. I was surprised. It was a nice little thing.
I don't do a lot of videos, but when I do them, I want to do them right.
Yes.
But you know, yeah, and that's the thing. It just had a lot to say about this set. And when I did that video, I said at the beginning, I didn't do any script. I didn't do any, it just had a lot of thoughts about it. And it really made me think of the overall, that set, especially coming at the end of the year, like it did, really, it provoked a lot of thoughts for me about Lego as a brand and where we're headed and where they're taking. They've been slow rolling us to this point. And I feel like for me, that set in 2024 was the straw that broke the camel's back. This was a set that price-wise made no sense for what we got. And then if you start looking back at 2024, you could see these things happening. Same concept with the X-Jet, same theme, X-Men, X-Jet. That set had no business being the price that it was. Absolutely no business being the price that it was. And I don't get it. And they're just not apologetic about it. They're just like, nope, this is the price. This is what it is. We got I love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. You can actually see it over my shoulder right here, how much I love Spider-Man, right? And they gave us a Spider-Man helmet mask set. And I've somewhat gotten into a lot of the, you know, the different helmets, especially in the Star Wars side that they've released. That Spider-Man helmet was one of my biggest letdowns of the entire year, because every tile, every plate, every piece you put on there, you had to put a Spider-Man sticker on and line up all of the webbing lines and everything all over the head. And I'm like, come on, man. At the price that we're paying for those helmets, and given the history that we've had with those helmets, there was a time when we got those helmets and they had printed pieces on. They were like brickheads. And I'm worried we're getting to that point now with brickheads, that if they're going to continue to give us these types of sets with stickers and things on them, then it's only a matter of time before they start giving us brickheads with stickers on them as well, and cutting those corners and taking those shortcuts. And once again, we're walking a dangerous line here, Lego. We got to be careful, Okay, you've been really good about that, the value that we have felt with certain sets, and we're taking some steps backwards, and I don't understand that. But that Spider-Man helmet was a big red flag for me. And then we get things like the X-Jet, which was way overpriced, and then we get things like the X-Mansion, which is way overpriced. Oh, by the way, the helicarrier. Oh my God, that thing, whatever. Oh, and then let's really get into the new one, the Marvel Advent Calendar this year, which was a, excuse me, day 2 of the Marvel Advent Calendar is just a bag of webbing.
Oh, that's lame. That's super. That's super lame.
Like, that's what you got in that Marvel Advent Calendar. The Marvel Advent Calendar this year, it's the same price as the Star Wars one. It's the same price as the Harry Potter one. Was such a ripoff. Such a ripoff for what you got. It's inappropriate.
And now you look at what they're releasing in 2025, and as much as we may love the fact that there's a Spider-Verse set, we have a $50 Miles versus the Spot set, which only has 375 pieces. More importantly, it does not look like $50. So, you know, that's at Sony and Marvel and Lego tax all over it. And man, does it suffer because of it. So that'll be on sale and tossed to the side by the end of 2025 easily.
Side note: apparently the Sony Spider-Verse is dead.
No,
I'm assuming they're still going to release the third and final film of the Spider-Verse, but all of the ones outside of the Tom Holland Spider-Man 4 now are dead. So Kraven, the new one that's coming out, is apparently so bad it killed all of the side projects. So no more. They're not making any more.
So they knew this is
and the Spider-Verse film has been delayed. The Spider-Verse film was supposed to come out this year, and it radio silence.
Yeah. So they clearly, Madam Web was it. The reason why people aren't interested is because the audience knows it's Sony's attempt at trying to piggyback off of the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I don't think any of these movies are doing anything creative or notable that adds value. And the fact that they had Venom, 3 movies of it, and they progressively, in the eyes of the public, got worse. It's like, it's just handled all wrong.
Yeah,
all wrong.
I'm be curious to see where it all lands. But like I said, the report came out last night that Sony's done making them outside of Spider-Man 4, and then apparently at some point in time finishing the Spider-Verse animated trilogy. But that has gone through massive rewrite. Like, that movie was done. And apparently, like, they're back into animation and everything because Sony got their paws in it and wanted to change a bunch of stuff or whatever. So that whole film is just like, is good. God knows what that's going to be.
What's a good movie that Sony's come out with in the past 15 years?
That wasn't Spider-Man 3? I don't know.
Yeah. or the Spider-Verse. Like what have they not tainted? Not even Marvel.
Ghostbusters was good. The Afterlife was good. The second one was not
bad. So who a part of this regime at Sony says, "Hey, we did one really good thing. Now let's make a bad thing. Now let's make an even worse thing, and let's make it a bad time for everybody involved."
I don't know. Bad Boys would also be Sony, right? They've done pretty good with the last 2 Bad Boys films. I think
I didn't see them.
I think Bad Boys was it. But yeah, in the last 15 years, Skyfall. Yeah, I don't know. Sony might have released that, but that was more MGM, and Sony's just the releasing company there. But as far as like a property that they own and
right, yeah, like what do they have their hands directly in? Basically, Ghostbusters is valid. Marvel, the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah. Jumanji.
Like, and at what point, At what point do you keep royally messing up these franchises? And you're like, this is literally losing us millions of dollars. Why are we retaining the rights to this IP? We are actively devaluing this and losing our company at the same time. Why would you do that?
I think this could end up being where, Spider-Man 4. I mean, I'd be curious before they ever get to it if they don't just sell it to Marvel, sell it to Disney.
What I would do if I were Sony, pro gamer tip, Spider-Man 4 has not been formally announced. There's nothing.
Not formally. They just have Tom Holland out there.
Of course. And he yaps. He's a certified yapper. All right. What I would be doing if I'm Kevin Feige, I'd be doing a lot of this right now. I'd be sitting back in the chair. You're watching Craven. You're watching. It's like watching your ex-girlfriend implode. You're watching them explode, and you're like, oh yeah, no, you're gonna stay with that guy. You're gonna make this out. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not gonna do. So he's just waiting, and now they're at the point. Spider-Verse is nuked. Craven's nuked. He's probably just like, you want to sell the rights back. We want to sell the rights back to you.
They want it because they have a whole land and Disneyland and California Adventure dedicated to Avengers, right? Right now they have one ride. And you know who's the star of that ride?
Spider-Man. It sucks.
Tom Holland. Like, that's it.
They have the Tower of Terror too.
That was already there. That was established before.
Yeah.
That was established before Avengers Campus even opened, right? They designed all their shops and everything. Like, it's Spider-Man. Like that, they have a big shop, it's Spider-Man. They have a big ride, it's Spider-Man. And it's not even not even they own it. They don't even own it. Like, that's how scary it is and I just feel like they've been waiting. Like, they're waiting for it to implode so they can just pounce and say, all right.
I literally think it is watching your ex-girlfriend self-destruct.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah.
And it's working.
It's working.
To be fair, it's working.
Well, it's working. So speaking of self-destructing, well, shoot, let me just.
No, that is a good segue. Actually, you got a point.
Speaking of self-destructing here, DC has done some interesting things, and once again, we've talked about it on this show over the course of this year. That it's funny if you look at the Lego themes in their themes area, they have DC, but then they also have Batman. And I'm like, there's not a whole lot of difference between if you click on one tab versus the other. There's not a whole lot of difference there. And, we were hoping that we were going to see a lot more Superman type of stuff coming out in 2025 with the new James Gunn film coming out and whatnot. But, early reports are we're not, basically what you see on the website right now with the Superman mech, which makes no sense, is all we're getting for Superman in 2025, which sucks. But what also sucks is what they gave us Batman wise in 2025, outside of one of my favorite sets of the year. The thing that really stuck into my crawl was the 8-in-1 Batman brickhead. I'm a big brickhead fan. I love brickheads. I love collecting them. And this set was a very interesting anomaly for me because they upped the price a little bit. They gave us what they called their 8-in-1 brickhead. You could make whatever version of Batman you wanted, and then you were left, because you could only make one version of it per box, you were left with just a humongous amount of miscellaneous pieces. So you would have to then put them away somewhere if you ever wanted to make your other Batmen, whatever, and maybe find them down the road. Matter of fact, this set sucks so much, they ended up giving it away for free, Brian. They gave it away for insider points later on in the year. That's how much this set sucked. Well, they were like, no, sorry. Here it is for free. Let me do that.
I think, I mean, I didn't buy this, so how can I comment? But I like the idea on paper of one set where you can customize it to be any Batman you want it to be. The replayability of that is similar to a creative 3-in-1, which is what I always recommend to new Lego builders. How do you get a good value out of it? Right. But if you want to display it, you can't, even if you had, made this $30 and you include whatever the necessary components were so you could have your two favorite Batmen on display at the same time, or at least, you can have it so you, in Lego spirit of cooperation, right, You have you and your whoever are building together. You can each build your favorite Batman, and then you can, buy this one set, and $15 per brickhead. That it just about makes sense. So why didn't they do that? I have no idea. So,
but this is I also don't like choice. Like, I hate being. I have a hard time deciding things, and so when you give me a choice. That's why I struggle sometimes with the 3-in-1s, and that's why if I can afford it, I sometimes buy all three, buy 3 sets of the 3-in-1s, because some of their creative 3-in-1s are great, and they do have a lot of really 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 cool miscellaneous builds in there. But this one is so small, and the amount of pieces is so tiny that it's hard to justify hanging onto those pieces and rebuild it. Yeah, maybe give us two versions of it or whatever. The Batman, I don't know. There's just something about this idea of an 8-in-1 Batman set that you can only build one out of it. Like, is kind of bananas to me for the price. And the other one, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we had the 1966 Batmobile, which I know you were not head over heels for, even though you're a Batman fan. And we also had, there's a lot of I'm not ever going to build it, but that animated series Gotham is very good. So we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
I know mechs on mechs on mechs has been a thing, and we're getting that even more in 2025.
They're doubling down on the mechs.
And I'll tell you why. It's because of the kids. When you are going to that 5-year-old birthday party and you need a gift that does not break the bank, when you need a stocking stuffer, when you need to appease your kid, when you go to Target, that is the absolute most definitive thing you get, because you get multiple minifigures. It's unique. It's exclusively for children.
Yeah.
Children.
That's why none of those buildable figures or anything make my worst of or naughty list of 2024. It doesn't bother me. Like that, kids. I know who that audience is for, and that's totally fine. And if I was a kid,
Zach, the Batman with the Batpod, it's kind of cool.
Dude, the Green Goblin in the Marvel line, like, that was cool. Iron Spider was cool. Like, and I'm not playing with these things. I'm not displaying them, but I know who that audience is for, and I'm fine with it. I've seen so many of these buildable figs hit people's worst of list of 24, and I'm like, y'all need to get out of here. What are you doing? These are for kids. These are 7+ sets.
Right. Mighty Micros was the other one that, like, it was 2 miniature versions of the superheroes and like cars, and they tried to do that, which we have to talk about this next week. They're doing some stuff in Lego City for 2025 that I'm like, yes, but beside the point, that miniature value set that doesn't make sense to the IP, it's always going to be there.
Yeah. Now the 66 Batmobile, that was another one of those sets in 2024 where I felt like Lego was cutting some corners, taking a little bit of a step back from some of the other stuff they've given us, right? They've shown us, I swear, they're not that they ever want to be compared to this. Lego's a drug dealer. They give us a taste of all the good stuff, right? For a good value, for a good price. And then they scale it back once we're hooked. And that's what they did with the 66 Batmobile. It makes no sense that the smaller version that's a play set that doubles as a display set came with a Batman and a Joker, came with 2 minifigs. And the big, amazing version, supposedly amazing version of the 66 Batmobile, the one that celebrates Batman, the original Batman television series, doesn't come with a Robin minifigure. This should be illegal. This set is ridiculous. And on the internals, we get no steering, we get no, like, there's just they just left stuff out. It wasn't even the stickers that bothered me that much in this set, because if you go back and watch the original series, like, they're so poorly, the stickers on everything that are Batman, the bat juice, the bat whatever, the bat radio, the bat computer, it's all just slapped on stickers and stuff. And to me, it was almost, now, I don't think this was their thought with it, but this is the way I'm interpreting, going, that's adorable because that's the way it was in the television show, like, just badly placed stickers, right? No, that's not what their intention was. Their intention was we didn't have to print a piece to put it on this set, and fine. But I can give them a pass for it because of the nostalgia there. But the fact that they didn't include a Robin after so many years of not having a Robin is tragic. And that was their opportunity. You want that set to fly off of shelves even more than it. This set's going to be. Is it retired this year? I feel like it's going to be retired next year. Like, it's gone. It's
a lot of stuff's going to get retired ASAP.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, that set would have flown off of shelves. Like, you give us amazing steering and neat features with sets like the DeLorean, sets like Ecto 1, sets like the '89 Batmobile. Like, you give us things earlier on since 2020, and then you dumb it down for this one. It just makes no sense, and that trend is continuing especially for the price. Once again, price is a problem here, and that trend is continuing in 2025. It's not looking good. It's not looking good, DC fans and Lego fans. They've got to really, you know, I feel like they got to really think. They got to think, you know, with their heads and with their hearts here, what they're really doing to some of their Lego fans out there, because eventually people will riot. and when I say riot, it means they're just going to stay home. It means they're going to decide that it's not worth spending the money on to buy some of these things. And we're already getting overwhelmed with the amount. And when you start giving us crap, it's not looking good for you, which is unfortunate. And once again, it's a lack of sets. Lack of sets for DC, lack of sets on the Superman side of things, and that trend is not continuing either, or that trend is not going away in 2025. Those were just some of the themes that we went into. There were a lot of like standalone sets and things that you could look at on the naughty list. And I can't wait for Brian to get into some of these, because some of these were such head scratchers when they were announced, and they continued to be head scratchers once they were even built and in the hands of fans. Brian, out of the naughty list of leftovers here, what were some of your?
I'll tell you right now, the winners of Lego Masters Season 4 got done dirty by having their set being made into this. Again, let's make Lego a part of our lifestyle. Does that resonate for that price? No. Because you're also assuming that people are world travelers in that they want to put their photos on different places, right? So, to me, very niche. What you could have easily done with this, by the way, is put a sticker on a Lego City airport set and call it a day. And it would have sold remarkably better. And maybe that was intentional, but that's beside the point. It's beside the point. We had, some stuff like Despicable Me, generally not up my alley at all. Let's give it up for another year of me not getting my Ultimate Collector Series Peach's Castle. That's a W, Lego. Thank you. Appreciate you. Although I am finally building the Mario and Yoshi, and it is very good. This is a very good build. You didn't get it, right?
I actually do own that set, yeah.
But you haven't built it yet.
I have not built it yet, no.
It's very good. It's very good so far. Let's give it up for another year of Lego trying to keep up a dead theme. Lego Dreams, everybody. That's a W. That's a W. Fool me once, shame on me with Hidden Side.
They just don't know what to do with Dreams. The sets are cool. The sets are neat.
No one cares.
No one cares. But that's the problem. Nobody cares because nobody's watching the show. Nobody
cares. So let's take all of that. I mean, I know Wicked Mania is going. I get it. I haven't seen it yet. I will see it eventually. I still feel like the Lego sets are not what people wanted out of it. I asked my friends at the Lego store, and they have said there's a lot of grown women who are interested, but little girls, not so much. So,
I don't know.
It's for me personally. Our family fun over at home. This thing. Let's make Lego part of our lifestyle. Oh, welcome to the Rutledge family. Like you can clearly, Zach, Rachel may have purchased in her time of being the wife of the home, right? A piece of woodwork or whatever in the front of the home that says the Rutledge family. Like you could totally see her doing something like that to make it feel more cozy and homey, right? That's what you kind of do. This is the equivalent of that for the Lego nerds. And what would Rachel buy this and willingly put the see what I mean? So who is this for? Why would you bother with
I don't know who this is for. I don't know who this is. This is the you know, the freaking travel moments. Like, I just don't know who this is for.
Perfect. This is perfect for you because it's a nice display piece that isn't too Lego-y that we could put in our living room as a justifiable way to have your hobby encroach further into the home as opposed to just in the basement. And your wife is like, no, we're not doing it. And it's $100. So you're obviously not buying it. So that's who it's for.
That's the thing. I would rather take that $100 and apply it to something that that would look much nicer in the, you know, in the endurance. You know, that the endurance is such a beautiful model when you're done with it. That can easily go.
This is also for those lifestyle Instagrammers that have all beige and cream color, you know, wood, natural wood with the light piercing in. It's all perfect and whatever. Our family, fun, love, home life.
They don't even know this exists. Like, this has been buried on the website. This will be gone next year. This is done.
But Lego should have sent it to them and been like, oh my goodness. And those people could be like, look at these Legos. Oh my goodness. And,
I still don't understand this one. I got nothing on this one. This is I don't know what they're doing here.
Remember when I said Lego is hiring a lot of designers? I didn't say that was a good thing. I didn't say.
How do you get this? How do you do this as your first helmet?
You know what's really funny, Zach?
Mask, whatever, but not
Lego. Sonic and Lego put out a April Fool's Day joke, and it had basically the body of Sonic and a head not too dissimilar from that in Sonic style, and it was all messed up for April Fool's, whatever. There's a body that exists to this, and you can have a Sonic that's a posable, like a standing figure that's about that tall, like, you know, a foot and a half, or no, about 13 inches tall. It's out there. It's in a trailer. So why just give us a head, let alone just giving us head, but also no body and on a gray pike? Like, is this the 1400s? Why is this? Okay.
I question, and yes, I am looking at chat. I question any child that loves this set. I question their decision-making abilities.
You hear that, Eric Jameson? Your kid is getting coal in his stocking for Christmas because he likes the set.
This is naughty above naughty. Like, this is so naughty. I don't understand, because it's not even a combo. It's not even just the set. It's a combination of, this is the first helmet, mask, head set we got from Sonic, not your title character. Not Sonic, not his counterpart in Tails.
It's meant to promote the movie that's coming out. That's 9 days away. That's why.
How long ago did this set come out, Brian?
I know, it's like 7 months. Yeah, it's been a minute.
But that's the thing. Okay, fine. If you're going to do it to promote the set, do the line. Give me Sonic, give me Tails, give me Shadow, give me Knuckles. Give me the whole thing, right? If you're going to promote the film, promote the film. This makes no sense as a standalone, had never been done before set. This would be like the equivalent to making a Mario set for the first time ever, doing a Mario head helmet statue thing and putting Toad as your one and only version that they had available. It would make no sense.
My life and Lego Mario is already sad enough. Please close out the show. I don't want to be more sad.
I don't want to be more sad. Oh man, I didn't even get into the tragedy that was Bumblebee this year. That was another dagger to the heart.
Have fun with Soundwave next year.
Once again, Lego has a massive Megatron problem, because you don't know what to do now. Like, you can't release him. You can't release him, and yet you need to. That's the problem.
Yes. No, Soundwave would be it. I wasn't joking, right? That'd be the next one.
That's the rumor, right? Soundwave would be the rumor, but
that's going to sell even worse than Bumblebee. So we went going right down.
Soundwave might be cool if they do it right with, tapes and things, and you can interchange them and what. I just don't know how they can make the tapes at that scale transformable. Like that's where it's going to be a little tough for them and for everybody. I don't know. Good luck. Oh my God. The naughty list was something else this year, but next week's going to be fun. Next week with the nice list, I think it's actually going to be really, really enjoyable because I've got a lot of sets. It seems like Lego did us dirty this year, but there are a lot of sets that came out this year that Lego really kind of knocked out of the park. And I'd be curious to see if Brian agrees with some of my sentiments on some of these, on this nice list, and if I agree with his as well. So tune in next week for that. Don't forget to check us out on all the podcast channels that you can find, the Apple Podcast, Spotify. Check us out here. Don't forget to subscribe over on YouTube. And if you are live with us right now, stick around for the post show because that's coming up as long as the computer and everything holds out, which we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for being here. Mr. Bricks O'Brien, thank you once again for another spectacular show and your amazing commentary. I appreciate you all. We love you all. And we'll see you guys here in the live show just a little bit. Until next week, for the rest of you,